Okay, welcome,
Hair out of my
Sally.
mouth. Okay. When I decided to return to Yakima 4 years ago, my daughter was shocked. I asked her why. I had been talking about making a change for a couple of years. I wanted to go somewhere really foreign, somewhere overseas or maybe Yakima. I told her I've dreamed of teaching somewhere with new challenges. She said that I was always dreaming of doing things. She said she didn't really think I'd do it. I pointed out that I do approximately 50% of the things that I dream about. That's a pretty good return on dreams. So I'm going to tell you about a few of the dreams that I have for Yakima. 50% of them will happen, and maybe more. When we moved here, it had been a while since I had spent time in Yakima. I was stunned at how the center of the town was empty. I was a little embarrassed in front of my husband because I'd bragged about the place, and I was irritated with Seattle friends who thought I was going somewhere dangerous. There was a little bit of truth to those perceptions, but since then, new development has lit a spark. We have food, we have drink, we have a place to sleep it off. What I believe we also need is something to feed the soul. And so, after a little thought, maybe 5 minutes, I decided what better way to solve crime and economic problems than through art. So here's my biggest dream. I think we should become the home to the Northwest Museum of Latino Art and Culture. Why not take the reputation we currently have and flip it? I believe Yakima could be redefined as a place of taste and culture through the power of contemporary Latino art. This isn't as absurd and ambitious as it may sound. Ethnic art museums are finding funding resources that traditional art museums don't have. In my little dream, we're able to find donors who would buy images like this one by Alfredo Araguin, the Seattle artist whose work is currently showing at the Yakima Museum. Shortly after starting this investigation into how we might make a museum a reality here, the plaza came into focus. I put the museum aside, but I didn't forget about it. Now I was imagining the museum sitting next to the plaza. I imagined tourists and Yakima folks wandering in. I could imagine those people who once drove past our little town to go to Walla Walla sitting in our wine tasting rooms and our brew pubs after spending an hour in our unique little gem of a museum. But I'm getting ahead of myself now. The museum rests right now, but we don't need to wait too long. I don't really want to wait at all, but on the advice of friends, I'm taking baby steps. Baby steps. I hate that phrase, but people kept saying to me, "Take baby steps, Sally." All right, so here are some of those baby steps. At Davis High School, I wrote a Washington State Arts Commission grant to hire public artists to do a piece of work for the new buildings. We got $80,000. It's one of the largest grants that the state has ever given to a school. And we have a pair of public artists from Brooklyn working to create a piece that will be installed at Davis sometime this year. That's baby step number one. The Davis High School artists came out of a street art tradition. You can see one of their pieces here. After I asked what it would take to attract some street artists to come and create contemporary murals in Yakima, they said they'd like to do it, and they'd do it for free if we'd supply the paint and the wall, and we have lots of walls. And thanks to the Yakima Art Commission, we now have some paint. I think this project will happen next year. So baby step number two, almost a reality. Now, we're not Toppenish, and no offense to Toppenish. I don't think that we want to go down the path of historic murals. We are the face of contemporary art. I see the first mural leading to a larger street art celebration, a festival, similar to what they have in Portland called Forest for the Trees. What they do is that every year they have an event where people come in, they bring in street artists, and it becomes a week of partying and having a celebration for the town. That's baby step number three toward realizing the transformative of art. Now, here's another baby step we could take. we could become part of an international project called Inside Out. This was started by a French artist named JR. Jessica told me about him. He was a tagger in Paris and has evolved to become one of the most important artists around. He has a wonderful TED talk about art as a vehicle for identity and understanding. And for that, he won the TED Prize. He took the money and they gave him, and he created this program where groups of people can propose their own projects, and he'll advise you and supply the final prints. Here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to persuade people on one of our worst streets to allow us to shoot some lively and interesting portraits of them. Then we would display those images on the street, turning the street into a gallery. It would be about seeing these people who live there, appreciating their uniqueness, their humanity, and their needs. That's baby step number 4. But we still have our eyes on the prize. How could we possibly get the kind of money we need to start a museum? One funding source might be a nonprofit called ArtSpace. They partner with communities and cities to consult, design, and manage artist lofts and studios and exhibition spaces. What you're seeing in this slide and the next one is a project they did to revitalize downtown Everett. They helped create the Shack Art Center. You can see that the glass artist, Dale Chihuly, likes the work. The Northwest Museum of Latino Art and Culture may look like a dream, but here's what Shimon Peres said. He was one of the founders of Israel. For me, dreaming is simply being pragmatic, and I agree with him. Most of us know people who came here to seek opportunity by creating the hills of orchards, the fields of hops, and the vines. But that work goes on. It has defined the valley for more than 100 years. And I believe if Yakima is to continue to grow as a community, we need to also feed ourselves intellectually and emotionally. Yakima is the heart of Latino culture for the Northwest. The museum belongs here, and we need to seize the opportunity. This is a dream that I'm convinced that we, you and I, can make happen. So, thank you.